Okay, so we're recording. I'm just going to pin myself. There we go. And I'm just going to mute. I'll mute everyone's mics just in case there's any unwanted feedback or anything. But if anyone's got any comments or questions, more than happy for you to just unmute yourself and ask away. So we're recording, and I'm going to send this recording out probably first thing in the morning to everyone with a follow-up. Alice will send that across to you all. Someone's already commented and asked if I'm in a jail cell here, which is a is a fair question, but I'm not. I've moved into a small room that we have upstairs at Matrix. There's actually we're having some work done here to expand and extend our production facility. We've basically just struggling in terms of space and room for production and stock and all that type of thing. So over the next couple of months, there's going to be some production work going on, which means some things have had to be relocated, and for the short term, we've lost the training room where we used to do most of these calls from. So I'll be in here probably on quite a few of the calls that I have with you all over the coming weeks and months. Okay. As I say, I'm more than happy for any questions for you to just shout out as we go through this. It's nice to see so many of you here. Like I say, we'll send a recording out so yourselves and colleagues can check out this short webinar afterwards. I'm actually fresh back from North America from a trip to the US and Canada. It's nice to see a few faces when you were logging in for people that I spent some time with over the last couple of weeks. So I took a bit of time to travel for work, Illinois, Indiana, Florida, South Carolina, and then into Canada as well, visiting our dealers and partners. It's something that we'll be doing much more of in the months and years ahead. We would obviously have liked to have seen more people during this one trip, and actually we'd have been seeing people more often over the last 2 years if it wasn't for COVID. So we'll be, I'm sure, visiting you, if we haven't already, in the months ahead. So in the recent trips that I've had, and in my conversations with people, not just in recent weeks, but in recent years, I've become more and more familiar with the cycle of budgeting and the cycle that academic institutions, be it schools, community colleges, state colleges, tech colleges, or even universities go through during the academic year, not only in the US, but also in Canada and in other markets as well. So what we decided to do was to put together this short presentation just about some of the thoughts that we've got and ideas for getting academic institutions engaged with Matrix products and spending some of that year-end remaining budget that tends to surface around this time of year through to the end of May, June sort of time. I know that things will be a little different depending where you are, and I already know that looking at the list here, there's a few people that aren't in US, that aren't in Canada, around different markets in the world, but I'm sure you'll be able to apply what we've got here to yourself as well. So we're just going to run a short presentation. It'll be quick. I don't think it'll take long at all. And then we'll share the detail with you afterwards, and you can go in and do your thing, I guess. Just bear with me. Okay. Should be able to see that presentation now, hopefully. So, end of year budgets. This isn't the type of presentation that you'd necessarily share with your customers, but it's for the benefit of this particular webinar. So essentially, as I've just explained, not only in the US, but in other markets as well, I'm aware that you guys are coming towards the potential end of a budget year. Now is the time that I've found success in recent years in terms of targeting schools and colleges to find out what budget they may have remaining in order to spend it before it's too late. Now, there are a number of challenges related to doing this. One of the challenges is getting equipment to the customer on time before that budget is lost. And at the moment, something that we're being hit with a little, and I know for sure that other suppliers in the market are being hit with much more than us, lead times. So sourcing equipment, components, etc., can lead to 12, 14, 16-week lead times in many cases, whereas with ourselves, we're able to hit much tighter lead times. And so looking at Matrix products for that end of year budget spend is something that I've known people have some real success with. So I'm wanting to put that across to all of you. And what we've done is we've put together a short presentation with a little information on products, including example quotes, which will help you to offer some affordable solutions for using up some leftover year-end budget. So we'll go through those over the next few slides. One thing to note, and I'll reiterate this as I go through, is that any prices that you see here are our recommended retail prices. What we do have, and I'll show you this, is an editable document where you can just pop in your price specific to your company. So if you just bear with us, we'll get that across to you as soon as. And then hopefully, if you are joining this as a salesperson, you'll be able to just go straight out to your customers and start putting some of these prices in front of them. But if you're in a position where you need to roll this out throughout your team, then you can take the information we provide you with tomorrow morning and send this out to your sales team. Okay. Okay. So before we go through the individual products, and the sort of examples that we've put together about what can be done here, just 6 key things that I talked about a lot last week when I was doing training, visiting customers, etc. in North America, were these points that you see on screen now. Number 1, UK manufactured high quality products. That goes without saying, but you know, we do really get a lot of love for the fact that we manufacture the products here in the UK. And hence the work that we're having to undertake at the moment to increase our production capabilities and space. Curriculum, we always talk about the curriculum, so we always make sure that we send the curriculum out to a customer, be it an existing or prospective customer. The Learning Centre on the Matrix website holds all of this curriculum, and sending this out to them will only help with pushing a sale over the line. Delivery timescales. This is key, particularly when you're talking about end of year budget. Now, what we do is we normally like to ship products in less than 4 weeks. Most of the time we can do that. I would say in this scenario, just because of the time of year that we're in, end of year budgets, etc., I would allow for that sort of 6 to 8 week max period between getting an order to us and it arriving with the customer. If there is any uncertainty over a product arriving in time, do just ask myself, Alistair, or other members of the team here at Matrix, and we'll support you with that. Another reason why our products are suitable for this purpose is the affordability. Again, some of the experiences that I've had, not just in the last couple of weeks, but over recent years, is that people don't normally tend to be very surprised or surprised by the price of the Matrix products. What we do aim to do is we aim to sell in quantity, so i.e. number of stations per lab, rather than just one station because of that price point. So what I don't want to do is to put across a message to you that you cannot sell the same value of Matrix product as you can someone else's product, because you most certainly can. Instead, what I want to sort of talk about is the fact that actually per unit price is why we're able to really have some success with these end of year budgets. There's a couple of other points there. The portability of the equipment, the low voltage equipment, that's another 2 points that we talk about when we're presenting Matrix products as well. So all of that comes together to produce a solution that we believe is really fit for purpose for year-end budget spend, prices that are going to fit within that leftover budget money at the end of a year. Okay. So these are our products. You know all of them, I guess, so I'm not going to spend time here. The first product that is great for this purpose is the Allcode products. So the next couple of slides are all about the Formula Allcode and the robot arm production cell. So the robots, buggies, what we've proposed here are the class sets. So the class sets of 10 robots. Okay, so 2 sets of 10 robots. You're looking at something like $4,000 to $5,000 US dollars for about 20 of those robots. $5,000 US dollars, nice small sale, fitting in with end of year budget. And the great thing about these products is that they're really capable of being a useful learning tool at many levels of education, not only within schools, but through colleges. And we see them well used within universities where students are writing code using C++, MATLAB, LabVIEW, and so on. And then at those lower levels with Python, App Inventor, and so on like this. I was in a few high schools last week in Florida where they're already utilizing the Allcode products from us as well. Okay, so what we have then on the next slide, and this is the pattern that goes through this presentation, and again, we'll send it out to you, is an example quote. So quantity of 2, the product is the deluxe class set, which is 10 robots, incidentally, the product code, and then the unit price and the full amount times 2. Now, again, like I said towards the beginning, bear in mind that these prices on the document we'll send to you are most definitely editable. So you add into here not only not our recommended price, but your price to the customer. Okay, so that's the first product, is the Formula Allcode. The next product is the robot arm production cell. Typically, you would find the Formula Allcode, the little robots, 1 per student would work best. Whereas with the robot arms, they can work in maybe smaller groups. It's a more costly product, not hugely costly in terms of robot arms, but more costly than the robot buggies. And so the robot arm production cell, again, in the same way, works with the Allcode technology. So you can program from Python, from App Inventor, from Flowcode, but also LabVIEW, MATLAB, etc. And the way that I've seen this used is as a robotics or programming / coding learning tool at maybe high school and through college level. But also I've seen this as what I would call a precursor to industrial robot technology. So you will have customers, no doubt, using Fanuc robots, KUKA robots, ABB, and so on. This is a really useful tool where it's relatively inexpensive and you can get more students hands-on with learning techniques about pendant programming, G codes, etc. with our robot arm production cell before they go on to using the huge $50,000 to $100,000 robot arms from the big brands I just spoke about. And so again, following that slide with a brief explanation is the quote. Here we've suggested 5 robots. Again, it is just a suggestion, but here for less than 11,000 US dollars, you're able to bring together a class set of those robot arms for students working in small groups. This is another product though that even if they can just afford one of the robot arms for now to try it out, and maybe they've only got a couple of $1,000s in leftover budget at the end of the year, let's get them using it. I'm sure that in the new school year, it will lead to much more. The next products are our process control products. The process control products actually include 5 individual training systems. We don't include the motor control in this particular quote, although that's just to try and keep it at a more reasonable value. You'll see on the next slide that for $12,500, roughly speaking, again, insert your own pricing into the document when I send it you, you can have a full setup of flow, level, temperature, and pressure. Now, typically, I would say this is a product where we tend to be finding people are going for one of each, flow, level, pressure, and temperature. We've seen many cases already where we've supplied in that same way. However, I've also experienced many different scenarios where people will pinpoint the specific product that they want in this range. So some people may be working with, for curriculum purposes, a level system and a temperature system. So they may go for 3 of each of those. I have seen, of course, as well, scenarios where people go for 4 of each. But you are pushing the price up there, and that coming at end of year budget prices might be more of a stretch. So I put this quote together based upon end of year budget pricing, trying to get it at a reasonable value where teachers can purchase something with the leftover money that they may have. Okay, so you've got about $12,000 US, 12.5 for the full set. They work in small groups, maybe in pairs or 3s, and they move around the 4 stations whilst following the curriculum that we provide. So this is process control. My typical experience is telling me that end of year budget, normally someone will have 5, 10, at most 20,000 US dollars remaining in budgets, if anything, when it comes to this time of year. Electrical machines. I was toying with the idea of putting electrical machines in. It is probably one of our more, well, it is more of our more expensive products. But I thought most definitely let's put it in there. $12,000, maybe a little more, 13,000. You've got a full electrical machine set up with every machine, every motor that we have in the range, from DC, AC, 3-phase, brushless, series shunt. All the machines that we have available are all included in this package that I've proposed as an end of year budget quote. We do have a core set, as we call it, which is essentially just 2 of the machines. They can then add others later if they wish. And we have other ways of packaging up an electrical machines lab. But as we show here, 13,000 US dollars, you have here the ability to have an electrical machines training system. Of course, we can do that in different ways. This is explained on this particular slide. So we can add individual control boxes, a bag of items like the leads and connection systems, etc., so that they can use multiple systems and set up multiple workstations. So it's a very flexible product that you can contact me to get help with quotes on, but have it in your mind as a product for end of year budget where we might be able to pull some orders through. Okay, moving on from electrical machines into Locktronics. So Locktronics, you guys are probably familiar with Locktronics already. I'm sure you all are. This is the product that learns and teaches about electricity, electrical circuits, electronics. We have hundreds of individual components and they mount on a baseboard. We sell these as working kits, which can just be taken out the box and start to work on straight away. We teach many topics, from the most basic electricity and magnetism topics through to the more advanced topics. Last week, I had a number of customers interested in not only power systems and 3-phase, but also how we teach about high voltage battery technology using the Locktronics product range. So we've got about 40 different kits in this range. And what we've done in this particular presentation and in the example quotes that we'll send is we've put together an example of what can be offered at a low, intermediate, and higher level. So the lower level being typically high school, the intermediate being the sort of senior high into college, and then the advanced being college, maybe even into the university. And we've done that to try and keep the pricing level between 5 and 10 or 11,000 US dollars. So you can see these quotes here. The level 1 at the top, which is the electricity, magnetism, and materials, then the 4 optional add-ons, which can be added or not, depending on your customers' requirements, then the intermediate level, and then the advanced level at the bottom. In order to understand more about these kits, you will find the information about them in the specifications, on the website, in the curriculum in the Learning Center, and so on. But Loctronics, again, a product that typically I will see success with as end of year budget money becomes available. Okay. Automatics. In a similar way to Loctronics, you have a baseboard, you put together components to have a pneumatic circuit built rather than an electrical circuit. We have the ability here to teach also not only simple pneumatic techniques and principles, but also electro-pneumatics and control, or using a pneumatic system with PLC. So we've only put together, for the purposes of this end of year budget quote, the essentials and the electro. We've suggested a quantity of 2, and we've included the optional compressor, and we've come to $7,500. Again, a nice price for leftover or remaining end of year budget. If you have any questions on it, let me know. There's different ways that you can sort of create this type of quote, but this is the way that we presented it for our example. Micro CNC, it does what it says, I guess, on the name, but we have here a panel about 1 meter in width, maybe a little less, with a changeable CNC rig setup on the panel itself. So the students can use this system as a lathe, 2-axis lathe, turning wax, for example, or they can use it as a 3 or 4-axis mill, in which case they'd be engraving acrylic, they'd be cutting polyurethane wooden cubes, or maybe they'll be cutting other soft metals, for example, like aluminum or aluminium, as we call it, which went down well whilst I was in North America last week. So this product is, again, one that can be suitably used for presenting an end-of-year budget quote to your customers. Here is the quote example. This is a little more kind of complex for putting together than quoting a Loctronics kit, for example, because you need to include some software, but it should be relatively straightforward for you to follow. Most of you have done quotes for the Micro CNC already, because I've been involved in that and worked with you on them. But if anyone needs any support with putting them together, I'll be back to you like a shot. So just let me know. Okay. And $6,000 US for one full system, which can be used as lathe or milling machine, is right there in the example quote we have presented. Fundamental Mechanics is a new range of products covering statics, materials, and dynamics. We've only launched this in the last few months, but it's designed to be an affordable way to teach those key principles of mechanical engineering. Now, as I mentioned, we have 3 kits: statics, materials, and dynamics. The example quote that we've put together is for the complete setup, which is essentially all 3 in one bundle. You can offer 1, you can offer 2, you can offer whatever it might be that they want, but this is the example we've put together. You get all 3 in one kit, $6,000 US, including specimens for the materials testing. So great for a limited budget. Okay. Structures. Structures is, again, a new product, even newer than the Fundamental Mechanics, which we launched about 4 months ago. So this is only from a couple of months back. But we here present 7 commonly taught principles of structures in mechanical engineering subject area. So we have bending moments, shear force, reactions of a simply supported beam, bending stress, deflection of beams, torsion of rods, and pin jointed frameworks. Now we've chosen 3, and these 3 are, again, just an example. They teach what we would commonly see. These are probably the best quoted so far and the best sold so far versions of the structures products that we have available. But for under 10,000, a budget that we kind of wanted to stick around for these end of year budget quotes, but there's no restriction, of course. These 3 systems can be purchased from us. So here we've put bending moments, torsion of rods, and shear force together. The full set is 22.5, approximately $1,000 US. So if someone has the end of year budget or normal yearly budget that they can purchase, then that's the price for them all. Prices for all these and everything else are all in the price list that you guys have access to. Lastly then is a product that I would say in recent months has really boomed in its appeal and in interest from customers all over the globe. We just sold to a number of these systems actually to Colombia, which is interesting, a relatively new market for us, but through the Ministry of Education, they've equipped a number of 16 to 18-year-old schools with the Smart Factory and Robot Arm system from Matrix. And they've done that with the Siemens PLC technology as well. And there are two ways that this product can be sold. We went into a fantastic college that I can recall a couple of weeks ago in the US, where they had $1 million, I'm going to say, of Amatrol equipment. Now, Matrix equipment is different to Amatrol. We are not here to, by any stretch, replace the approach that Amatrol have taken to the market. There will be scenarios where people will, I'm sure, opt for our system instead of Amatrol because of the price availability of it. But in more than that scenarios, I would expect people to use our system to complement Amatrol because of that price point, because of the ability to use multiple system setups in a lab and then move on to using the Amatrol setup, because of the portability, the low voltage, the easy learning curve and experience of using a Matrix product, the ability to build the Smart Factory from scratch each time that the students use it, etc. And so the Smart Factory is another product that really lends itself well to those end of year budgets. And here is the example we put together: $11,500 US for one full Smart Factory with the robot arm setup, with the Siemens PLC setup as well. That's everything that you need on that particular quote. So again, that's all editable. Things can be changed around, moved, prices changed, etc. on what I will send you afterwards. So just to wrap that up before I address any questions you might have and just show you briefly the editable file that we'll send to you. All these quotes are intended to be examples. The prices are not the prices that you have to offer to the customer, of course. You edit these as you wish. You don't even have to use the templates that we've set up and we'll send now, because some of you may not even be in the US, in which case you don't want to use something with the US flag. But they are designed to try and get you engaged more with using Matrix products to fulfill end of year budget requirements. If you need any support with these, don't hesitate to let any of us here at Matrix, me, Alistair, Alice, and the others know. Just briefly then, if I just stop the share, I'm going to share another screen with you. So this is the document that we're going to send to you. Again, it's editable. You can do whatever you want with it. There's a little introductory page there. It doesn't look editable, but you may be able to faintly see just here how you can edit the price. So I'm just for argument's sake going to put $1,000 per unit. $2,000 there, okay? And you can edit those and then send them off to the customer. This is all, you know, every page is in the same way. You can use these pages if you want. If you want to request edits to these, to this document, again, just let us know. But I hope that this and the presentation go together to provide some food for thought and to provide a potential for a marketing campaign that you guys might be able to deliver over the next couple of months. And hopefully by the end of the academic year, we've pulled in a few orders off the back of running this session today and providing you with the resources that we have, such as this one here. Okay. I don't have any more to say other than to look in if there's any questions, which there is. So let me just have a look through. There's a couple. Okay. I've addressed that one already, I think. Is any training typically needed or provided? Typically not is the answer to that question. Typically our products are out the box, working perfectly fine. They follow the lab manual and they're able to just get on with using the products that we provided. There's no setup costs, no installation. I do know that in some scenarios, people request that facility. And so, yes, we can deliver training, and we have done. I'll use some examples of recently where we sold some of the process control and electrical machines, and people want some online sort of couple of hours of familiarization and training in order to get them up and running with the equipment. So we can offer it, most definitely. It can even be done retrospectively if they get the products and then find that actually I could do with the training, even though they've not planned that previously. So typically not, but certainly available if required is training. Okay, a comment there about, okay, that's just, I'll address that one. Okay, lead times. So yeah, I think at the beginning, I talked about the lead times. Typically, we look to meet the 4-week lead time that we set out. I would say that we're heading into now our busiest time of the year, not just US, but UK and other markets that we operate in as well. So I would say that I would advise that you check with us anytime that there is a lead time delivery deadline required for a product. I would advise that you leave to be safe 6 to 8 weeks, because of course there can sometimes be shipping issues in terms of a product arriving with the customer. So yes, 6 to 8 weeks ideally. So if a product needed to be with someone by sort of 1st of June, then you would be talking towards the end of April. You'd need to get an order, which is not far away. But if you were talking end of June, then you'd be looking more like mid to late May to get an order to us in order to meet that type of deadline. So for us at the moment, we do have some challenges in terms of deliveries, and I do keep people up to date with that. But I'd send an email out, for example, recently about some of the 16-bit DSPIC eBlocks boards that we have, which are really not hugely popular in the US, for example. We sell them more to the Middle East market. But they are on long lead times at the moment, so we've had to just put them on a back order system. So we will continue to do that and let you know when any products we're having problems with delivery or anything like that. But as it stands right now, things are good, and we'd be more than happy to work with you on any lead times that you might need to meet. So communication's key, like anything. Let us know before you take an order, I guess, if you're uncertain about it. Okay. Any more questions from anyone? Okay. Last call then. Whilst we're waiting to see if anyone does have any to pop into the chat, the last thing I'll say about this is that we've run this session today to hopefully try and just give you guys more of a awareness of, as we run into the next couple of months, a busy time of year for everyone, the ability to offer Matrix products for year-end budget cycles, for leftover year-end money that might be available. I know that it does come up quite regularly. Matrix products are perfect for it. And hopefully this just gets you thinking. Maybe some marketing campaigns go out off the back of this as well. We'd really, really love that. And let us know if we need any more support. Alice will follow this up by sending the presentation and the editable document to all of you and your colleagues first thing tomorrow, so you've got access to it. Please do not hesitate to let me know if you have any more questions, though, in the meantime. Okay? Thank you.
Good work, Liam and team. Thank you guys for putting this together. Liam.